Welcome to week 2 of the Elestriad, where Shady Penguinn, representing Hephaestus and the Fire Pantheon, is actually taking on Magnitude, representing Poseidon and the Water Pantheon, the only two casters representing these elements throwing down for week 2. Shady had a dominant win in his week 1 performance. I'm very interested to see what he's going to be adding to his card pool, and Magnitude struggled to get any sort of momentum going, so it'll be interesting to see if he tests his luck with packs or if he goes into another starter deck to strengthen his opportunities. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, and don't forget you can check out shop.elestrals.com to pick up some sweet starter decks yourself. Without further ado, let's find out what these two casters are going to be opening for week 2 so we can find out what they're bringing to their epic clash.
All right, Shady Penguinn here for week 2 of the Elestriad. This is just going to be the opening video. I have gone ahead and as my week 2 reward from the gods, I've chosen to add the starter deck, the wind starter deck to my reservoir, you know? The Aeolus Pantheon is mine and mine alone. That's not true. It's probably everyone's at this point.
Internet, good morning. My name is Magnitude, and welcome to my week 2 card opening, deck boosting, asset acquiring video. Pack opener, that's the one. Duh. So I am fresh off of my week 1. That was brutal. I thought I went in there with a sound strategy, but I drew literally after my opening hand. I drew one non-Elestral, and it just did not help me. So we're gonna open 6 more packs and hope we get some better stuff, because honestly, the 6 packs I opened before, they were not very good. And by all admission, even other players in the league were saying the same thing. So at least, I don't feel alone that way.
I was deciding between going with this one and the Thunder deck, but I feel like Imperial is a weaker 3-drop for me, and more importantly, I think that these cards in this deck are just so good. They are so good, and I want them available to me right now. So we're gonna go ahead and crack this open really quick, and I'm gonna briefly go through. This isn't the beginning, right? The beginning of the season. We're in week 2 now, baby. We are 1-0. We are 1-0. Had a great game against Powder, literally moments ago. And I was thinking about what to decide. It wasn't moments, because I was really thinking for a while. But we ended up going with Pantera's starter deck here.
So let's open the packs, and you got to do one from to the front. I think like that. I think that's how it goes. You know what? I have no idea. It is Lycaris is our spirit. Another wind spirit. Great. We have Rummagem. We have Clovey. We have Necruff. Scout, Smog, Aeromare, Siracoon, Chrysor, and Falcane.
Pantera. When this Pantera is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you can special cast any number of Hydrake and Twindra from your hand or deck in attack position. This card is crazy. If I get it out, my opponent gets it out, it is a wild card. Then we're gonna have a Hydrake here, which is the baby form of it. When this Hydrake is destroyed in battle, you can special cast a Twindra from your hand or deck. So this goes ahead, when it's destroyed by battle, you're gonna get Twindra out. And Twindra, when it's destroyed by battle, you can special cast Pantera from your hand or deck. Now you go through your health very quickly when you do this. However, if I do end up wanting to go this route and kind of leaving fire for a bit, I'm gonna use I'm gonna have triple Ambrosian now. I'm gonna probably use Sluggles. I might use triple Sluggle. Even though I'm not gonna be able to get I'm not gonna be able to get my wind back with Sluggle, but I'll use Sluggle as a resource to play my Ambrosia, etc. Use water. That's my kind of thought process anyway, but I haven't started deck building yet. This is the card. I think one of the best 1-drops in the entire game. It's a 4/5 for 1, and when you ascend this Aeromare, you can cast it as an artifact empowering the ascension with the effect, the empowered Elestral cannot be targeted or destroyed by an opponent's Elestral effect. So it is gonna cost you an extra spirit to play, technically. You'll use 2 spirits that turn, but being able to not be targeted or destroyed by Elestral effects is really good, and the stat line is strong. Then we have Glidesdale, the glow up, and you can expend a wind spirit in order to give this Glidesdale +5 until the end phase. As long as this Glidesdale is empowered by Aeromare, it can attack twice per battle. Twice per battle, really? All right, so if you go Aeromare into Glidesdale, I mean, it's a dual attack, baby.
Okay, let's go again. Let's open the 7th pack of the total. Or the 8 pack now. We're into 8 packs now. Here we go. We have. Okay, whatever. You know what? I don't even know. Okay, a water spirit. I already. Charon's Obel. Helios Chariot Ride. Scout. Oh my god. Smog. Seer. Zephyrog. Don't have one of those yet. Galaxy. Boombat. And Glidesdale. Okay, guys. This is getting tough. This is getting tough.
Then we have Pegust, which when this Pegust receives one or more wind spirit, you can target and destroy a rune. I love this. This is rune removal while putting a body on the board. Sign me up. Really strong. Then we have Exaltair. You can Nexus, which is a 1-drop. You can Nexus up to 2, so I love Nexusing. And then when you do, an opponent must take 2 damage. So if I Nexus 1 air, 1 wind, they're gonna take 2 damage. I love passive damage. It's really, really fun for me. Then we have Sorlet, another incredible 1-drop. You can expend wind in order to change the position of an Elestral unless it's wind enchanted. So any Elestral that's not wind enchanted can go ahead and be switched to defense or attack position. This thing can run over, I explained it in week 1 in our deck building. This thing can run over, or maybe in our pack opening. Either way, it can run over my big guy. It can run over Trifernal. It can just put a defense and run it over and call it a day. So it's gonna be really important to have, defensive, counter runes in order to prevent that in the future. Now we have Astrabit. This comes with 2 of these. This is one of the reasons I chose this deck. Astrabit is really, really good. I did pull 1, but I pulled no Thunder. That's why I was kind of torn between going with Thunder, because Thunder has so much removal in the starter deck, and I did pull 1 Astrabit. But I ended up deciding we're just gonna go with Wind. Let's get some good stat lines and see if we can make something fun and different than week 1. Astrabit, when he receives 1 or more Thunder Spirits, you can look at the top 3 cards of your deck and add it to your hand. And I did in fact learn that you can just do this again the following turn. If I were somehow to Nexus a Thunder Spirit onto him, or use, my normal Spirit for the 1 turn to give him another Thunder Spirit while he sits there, and I have 2 of these. I only 1 in this starter deck, but I got 1 in a pack.
Let's check back in on Magnitude and see if his luck is finally turning around.
Again, oh, finally! 1 Zaptor. Cool. Cherion's Oboe. Helios Chariot Ride. Okay. Tad Puff. Now we're talking. Little Ampup action. Little Elichick action. Bearbog. Titanostalk. Blazerus. And a... So I have 2 cards I might want to use.
Then we have, I think it's 2 Boombats here. You can disenchant 1 Thunder from this Boombat in order to target and destroy an opponent's Lestral. Just nice 1-for-1 removal. Of course, I got to take a damage in the process, but that's fine. Then we have Elichick. This is the reason why I went with this deck. There is so much toolboxing, right? The fact that Hydrake is thinning your deck when it goes down. The fact that Elichick is going to search for a Divine Rune when you normal cast it. So that's going to be, our Pantheon. Then we have Veritaqua, which we've seen last week, but it basically does things for defense Elestrals. Then we're on to our runes. We get more Nectar of the Gods. We get 1 more Nectar of the Gods, which I believe I already have 2. So now I have 3. That's perfect. Ambrosia, I did have 2, so I have an extra 1 now. Never going to use it. Resting on Your Laurels is an interesting card. I'm not sure if I'm going to run it, but it's a good comeback card. This Resting on Your Laurels card can only be cast if an opponent has at least 2 or more enchanting spirits than you. So if you're behind on board presence, essentially, target and destroy the opponent's Elestral with the least number of enchanting spirits. So there's some really fun things you can do, but this can end up being removal 1-for-1. In my mind, wouldn't I rather just run Boombat? I'm not sure.
The spirit is Teratlus, Clovey, Nekruff, Quackle, Nekruff, Ampup, Thunderstorm, Bag of Winds, Tornado, and Laracme. Let's open up another one.
Then we got 1 Circle the Sky. I love Nexusing. I'm definitely going to go ahead and run that for sure. Then we have Aeolos, which this can come out with 5 Wind Spirit if you want. So there's some spice. This deck can run out of spirits very, very quickly from their spirit deck. You can disenchant 2 from this in order to search your deck for an Elestral with enchantment cost 1 and add it to your hand. So more toolboxing, right? You can search for Aramare, you can search for Hydrake, you can search for Pegasus, you can search for Sorlet. So it's really, really strong because of that. Then we have Island of Aeolia, which is basically the stadium for this deck. +1/+1 for each wind. We have Bag of Winds. The Empowered Elestral gets +2 defense. I'm going to be honest, I'm probably not running this card. I don't think I'm running this card in my deck because I'm not going to be doing any of the defense attack switching. Then we have Tornado. Target an opponent's rune and return it to their hand. So this is not as strong, in my opinion, as Pegust, but once again, this won't take up your normal cast. So it's very important to understand that.
Dude, come on, baby. Come on. Oh, man. Here we go. Let's do it. Golden Apple of Discord. What's the spirit? Teratlus. Okay. Cherion's Oboe. Helios Chariot Ride. I'm glad there's no face cam for this. Drataya, Rummagem, Zephyrog, Galaxy, Boombat, and Arise from the Ashes.
Then we have Thunderstorm, which is just target to destroy a rune, you know? So it's like Pegast, but it costs 2 electric instead. I might be running that, I'm not sure. Then we get Double Tsunami, which I like a lot because I do have some water going on right now. I'm not sure how much water is going to stick around, but honestly, it probably will because I like my Smoltuga. I don't know, because Smoltuga, the whole point of Smoltuga is if I'm running the fire engine. That's another reason why I was really close to going with the water deck, just to have water fire and see if I could do something fun. But the stat lines were calling my name. Then we're gonna go ahead and get a bunch of Lycaris. So wind has completely opened up to me for the rest of the weeks. And then we have, I believe, 5 Zaptors. So not as many Zaptors as I would like, but truthfully, I'm really just gonna be running probably double Astrabit, and then probably double Elichick. I'm not sure if I'll run double Boombat. I might, Boombat's really good too. And then we get 3 more water. So now we have 8 Leviathan available to us total, I believe. And that's it, that's our opening. We'll see where our deck builder takes us next week.
All right, Magnitude, it's time for some last pack magic. You're gonna get something good this time, right?
Okay. Quackle. What spirit do we have? Lycaris, great. 1 Zaptor in 12 packs. Jolton. Nimbug. Pegas. Okay. Sorlet. Okay. And Javalantis. It's just shades of what destroyed me. Zephyrog. Galaxy and Mastation. I was looking for kind of help. I guess I could maybe add another Mustation in there. Javalantis probably compared to Tsunami. I am glad I figured out that I can just flip horizontally and vertically, keep the camera up, up there, which is great. But man, this is tough. This is tough. Yeah. So listen, I'm gonna try to do something with this, and let's look forward to week 2.
All right, Shady Penguinn added some really powerful cards to his card pool, including Aeolus, Hydrake, and Resting on Your Laurels. It'll be interesting to see what he's going to bring in preparation for his match against Magnitude, as he has 3 Tsunami, but they're not usually the best against a water deck. Let's take a look.
All right, week 2 of the Elestriad is here, and I have my deck profile ready for my match against Magnitude Steve, who's running a lot of water. So I have access to Tsunami, one of the coolest counter runes in the game. I think it's pretty cool, but it's not going to work well against Steve. So we're actually not running it. I'm going to go over the deck profile though, what we are running instead of talking about what we're not running. My deck looks very different than last week, I'm going to have to say. Very, very different, because I did end up picking up the wind deck and as my week 2 resource. And because of that, my whole engine is different now. I was trying to build some sort of burn with wind and with fire. That didn't really pan out too well, so I decided to just lean into the power that is wind and kind of morph my whole deck around that. We'll see how it goes. I do have some stuff still from the fire starter deck though, that is in here, especially these runes here. So first up, we got 2 Nectar of the Gods. I was considering running 3, but I decided on 2. I feel like I will regret that, but it is what it is. I am running triple Ambrosia though, and not that that's like a necessary thing, but I like it with Hydrake. I feel like you burn through so many spirits running up the chain to Pantera. So I like the idea of running triple Ambrosia. We'll see if that bites me. It could clog my hand though, for what it's worth. Then we have Circle of the Sky as a 2 of. Circle of the Sky is fantastic. I love Nexusing. I love having field presence and being able to draw a single card for a single spirit just to move some stuff around. There is some synergy in my deck with that. Very little this time around though. It's not as heavy as it was in my last profile. So then we have a new invoke here, Resting on Your Laurels, which is just like a really, really good card. The Resting on Your Laurels, this Resting on Your Laurels can only be cast by if an opponent has at least 2 or more enchanting spirits than you. So it's really good when you go second if you want it to make it feel like you're going first. If they can't stop this and you can just clear their Elestral that they played turn 1, if they played one turn 1, is really, really strong. I'm running 2 of those. And then it's also just a comeback if your field gets cleared and then your opponent has a lot of stuff going on, or say they have a divine rune that's got a lot of spirits on it and you don't, you can kind of, level the playing field a little bit. It's a good 1-for-1. Then we have Gorgon's Gaze, still the best counter rune in the game. I don't think it's changing anytime soon. I have my 2 for my starter deck. And then we have our 1 Shield of Achilles that we had last week. So that's it for my invokes and counter runes. Then I have 2 of my stadium. Now you guys can see I'm not running the fire stadium anymore. I'm running the wind one. Island of Aeolia as a 2 of, because that's all I have. And then we have Aeolus as a 2 of as well. When you cast this Aeolus, you can chant up to 4 Wind Spirit. You can disenchant 2 to search for a 1-drop wind, essentially, Elestral from your deck. So really, really good. It's, you know, the fact that it can come out on the board with 5 spirits, technically, you know, it's a heavy cost to life and resource, but the toolboxing into your deck and being able to search out 1-drops, being able to search out a Hydrake is really, really good. I'm running 2 of those. And then I am running 1 Eruption, and it's just there to hopefully catch Steve off guard. Seeing as he's going to see mostly all wind stuff, maybe he won't expect the single Eruption. I also feel bad taking this out because it's how I won my week 1 game, so I really didn't want to take it out. But that is it for my non-Elestral lineup. I'm going to have to shuffle this real good because the match is in about 10 minutes. And then for my Elestrals, we're going to start with the pretty obvious Hydrake. I didn't know how to play this. There's a lot of toolboxing that comes with wind, and I wasn't sure if I should just run triple Hydrake. After 1 gets played, the other 2 feel kind of dead, so I decided to just run 2 Hydrake, and that's it. When Hydrake is destroyed in battle, you can special cast a Twindra from your hand or deck in attack position. So really cool because it just automatically lets me cast Twindra, which is a 5/4, as long as it's destroyed in battle. Steve doesn't seem to have too much removal outside of Boombat, so I just have to play around Boombat and I should be fine to get this off. I may have to use Gorgon's Gaze on a Boombat after it disenchants to kind of, you know, do that, but we'll see. Then we have a single Twindra because once I play 1 of these, that's all I really want. Which, of course, when this is destroyed by battle, I can go to special cast Pantera from my hand or deck. So that's this right here, my 1 Pantera. I do have 2 available to me, but I'm obviously only running 1. And when this Pantera is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, so not by battle, which, you know, it probably is going to be by card effect because it's going to be a real big boy, especially if I have my Stadium out. It's going to have 11 defense, so that'll be really tough to get over. I can special cast any number of Hydrake and Twindra from my hand or deck in attack position. So if I want to flood the field, depending on what my opponent's board state is, I really won't be able to because I'm not flooding my deck with Hydrakes or Twindras. That is an option for sure to do. I just didn't want to do it. Then I'm running triple Aramare still because it is the best 1-drop in the game in my opinion. Well, it's the best 1-drop in the game stat line. Effect-wise, you know, it kind of is a dud unless you're going to go ahead and ascend. Obviously, that's what its ability's for. But I actually don't expect to ascend too much with this card. The only time I do see that is if I have Pantera in my hand and my field's flooded with a bunch of 1-drop wins, I may go ahead and get Pantera on the board with Aramare as a rune equipped to it. That would be pretty nutty. As an artifact, rather, that'd be pretty nutty. So we're running 3 of those. Then I'm running, I believe, 3 Sorlet, I hope. I am running 3 Sorlet. Sorlet is probably one of the most busted cards in the game, in my opinion, because it's just so good, man. It's a 5/1, so it attacks for 5. Its defense is irrelevant. Attacks for 5 with no Stadium out. And you can deal 1 spirit, like 1 damage to yourself. You can expend 1 Wind Spirit to change the position of any Elestral. So there's probably really neat situations where you're going to use it on your own, but it's an option. But this is crazy because even if you look at, like, you know, I talked about it last week with the big fire 3-drop, this game, Sorlet can run over that, which is insane. Actually insane. Then we have 2 Pegasus because that's all we have available to us. But P-Gust is really, really strong. When this P-Gust receives 1 or more wind spirit, you can target and destroy a rune. So you can clear back row, you can clear opposing stadiums if you need to, you can clear divine runes. Really, really strong card, and this synergizes obviously with our Circle of the Sky. I only have 2 of these. I would run 3 probably if I had 3. Then I'm running 3 Smoltuga. I was almost only going to run 2. Because this is my only water Elestral in the deck now. It's my only water card, honestly. But, you know, it's a 2/5. It's got a really good stat line. I also like the idea of if I draw this turn 1, it forces Steve to have to play his Stadium turn 1 to get over this, right? Because it's 5 defense. So if I can force him to play that early, I can either get rid of it with P-Gust or I can go ahead and replace it with my own. So I am running 3 Smoltuga. Then the only search target I have for Smoltuga left now is actually Kinleo. Surprisingly, not Nekruff. I know Nekruff is pretty much better, but I have a lot of offense in this deck already, especially with Aramare when I have the Wind Stadium out. That's a 5/6 anyway, so I don't have to worry about it. Kinleo, though, I can Nexus up to 2 fire. When you do, you can target and destroy an opponent's Elestral. The main reason I'm running 2 of these is because I was going to run 2 Boombat. You guys will see spoilers. I'm only running 1 right now. But I kind of realized that while Boombat has some advantages to Kinleo, right? You don't need a Nexus target. This deck has Nexus targets, right? Between the Stadium, between the Divine Rune, both of those are searchable by my Electric Elestrals. So I feel like I'll have targets, even if I have to go ahead and Nexus the Fire off of Kinleo. It'll proc the effect. It's the same, you know, it's kind of like the same thing as a Boom Bat. I lose an Elestral either way. However, the bonus is that now I have a floating spirit on the board, and even though it's fire, I can use that for some of my invokes and counter runes, what have you. So I believe for counter runes, if they're colored, if they're rainbow, I'm pretty sure you can use what's on the board. I could be wrong about that. I'll have to find out mid-game. But I am running 2 Kinleo, and that's it. Then I'm playing double Astrabbit because it is one of the best 1-drops in the entire game. When this receives 1 Electric Spirit, you can look at the top 3 cards of your deck and add one of them to your hand, then shuffle. So you can get, it's just a look at the top 3 and add any card to your hand your opponent doesn't get to know. Then I'm running 2 Elichick, which is when you normal cast this Elichick, you search for your deck for a Divine Rune and add it to your hand. So that'll get us Alos. This is now as if I'm running 4 Alos. Alios, I believe it's pronounced actually. So it's like I'm running 4 of them. That's consistency, baby. You'll love to see it. Then I am running a single Boom Bat. It's my new Earthquake. So instead of, you know, I'm gonna use my normal cast instead of having Earthquake in the deck. Earthquake might be better, arguably because of that reason, but it's fine. And then I'm running, my final card is 1 Jolton, which will allow me to search for Stadium Rune. This isn't making it so that it's like I'm running 3 of my Stadium Rune, because I would love to run 3 of my Stadium Rune. But I can't because I don't have it. So instead I am running Jolton as my 4th copy, essentially. Those are my 40 cards. Let's go over my spirits. I forgot to do that last time. I had to do it in a separate video, but the spirit lineup is pretty basic. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 wind spirits. 11 wind spirits. 1, 2, 3, 4 Zaptors. We've got 3 Pyros, which honestly could be 2, but I think it's 3 because of the eruptions. And then we have 2 Leviathans. I am ready to face Magnitude in an intense game of Elestrals. We'll see how it goes.
Now, Magnitude did not have a ton of stuff going for him in his pack openings, grabbing a Rise from the Ashes and another Mestation, but will that be enough to be able to get around Shady's offensive onslaught of fire and wind? Let's find out what Magnitude is bringing to the clash.
Welcome to the Week 2 versus Shady Penguinn in the Elestriad. Oh, you need my hands in there to know that I'm talking. That's right, I forgot the whole shtick. So let's talk a little bit about the deck that I'm bringing this week, why I'm bringing the deck this week, and maybe you guys can help forgive that abomination of what was last week. If you're rooting for me, obviously. If you're not rooting for me, then I'm sure what happened last week was something that you're a very big fan of. So let's talk about first what I removed, what I added, and then we'll go over, because all right, so the things that I removed are my 5 Vipiro, 2 Kinleo, 2 Eruption, 1 Warmite, 2 Smoltuga, and 1 Exaltair. And what I've added was an Astrabbit, I added a Tadpuff, I added the P-Gust, I added a Zephrog, I added a Crackhead, I added 1 more Galaxy, 1 more Tornado, 1 more Mestation, and I added 3 Water Spirits, 1 Wind Spirit, and 1 Electric Spirit or Thunder Spirit just for the Astrabbit. So let's get into exactly why I made these decisions and why you're still. I have to make sure that I have enough hand enunciation for people to stay interested. I'm hoping the photo again up there. I'm hoping the photo they have of me. Hold on, I'll get there. No, it's there. I'm hoping it's with me and one of my dogs. I'm hoping so. We'll get there. Well, no, we're not gonna get there. They have to get there. They better get there. Maybe. Oh man, because I've been all up on this editor thing. Like it's so cool having an editor. I was thinking what would be really great is if every few minutes they just change the photo of me to a different photo of me with one of my dogs. But I don't want to keep making these requests. I don't want them to do it. I don't want to actually waste their time with these superfluous edits. And they could be going towards someone with 2 webcams. So let's talk about what happened last week and what we're trying to do this week. I just couldn't draw any runes last week. But even if I drew the rune, if I drew some of my runes, they wouldn't have really been all that helpful given the spots that I was in. I kind of got overrun, and really the runes that I had some eruptions, but I didn't really have a lot that could really handle that. So I just kind of fell flat. I had no real presence. I was just kind of there. Like water, really, a lot of times. It's just there, and then if it's there for 240 million years, the Grand Canyon forms, and eventually people are like, wow, how do we not see this at the time? It's because you weren't alive then, Dave, because you're 29, that's why. You weren't alive. There's no way you could have seen the effect of erosion over millions of years, because you have not yet even celebrated your 30th birthday. You're a child.
Dude, this is a Wendy's restaurant.
So I ran into some hiccups and pitfalls last week. and trying to rectify these, as well as obviously play what my opponent has. So Shady Penguinn, longtime friend of mine, good friend of mine. I knew him back when he was still just an avatar of a Delibird with sunglasses, guys. That's how long I've known him for. He's got the Fire starter deck, and sprinkling in some others. Really, Fire is his. Fire is really it's his prominent element. I had Fire last week, and I removed all the Fire. And I'm hoping because I had Fire last week, me removing all of my Fire won't be on his radar, and I won't get Eruption to death, because he might not see the value in it if he knows that I'm going to be sprinkling in Fire. But I'm not. I just have one Thunder Spirit for the Astrabbit, so I can use that effect, so I can hopefully maybe draw, get a card I need in a pinch. But, a lot of here is kind of situationally dealing with things. So, a Tadpuff, maybe to get something quick out there, to maybe allow me to get my only Ascension Majesty, or just to maybe even to get to defend something in a pinch, or to maybe get a Zephrog going. Zephrog I'm using literally because it's kind of like a Hail Mary direct attacker. So if I can maybe Tadpuff Zephrog, maybe if I have on the field already, like one of my Aphros, or something, I can Tadpuff Zephrog. I can get Zephrog with 4 spirits in 1 turn, and direct attack for 4 would be nice, because I needed some kind of offense last week. I don't have a lot of offense in the cards that I pulled and the deck that I have, so I need to kind of make my own. Crackhead is really just situationally, if he gets something super powerful for some reason, I'll have Crackhead there just to kind of get rid of that threat, if it happens to exist. I'm not going to be leaning on Crackhead, but kind of like an emergency button, so to speak. I added another Mustache because a 6 attacker 1-drop could be, primo. And then, another Galaxy because, a 2/5, and I can even misenchant Galaxy if I needed that 5 defense for some reason to, stop something. Added another Tornado to get rid of, possibly to get rid of, to bounce back a Rune if I need to. But I'm hoping that I can just generate a little more than I had last week. So I didn't have much of a presence. I'd like to get maybe a Poseidon in the game. That would be fun. But I'm hoping, and Pegast obviously to pop a Rune. Why would I not want to pop a Rune? That'd be phenomenal, right? So, guys, these are. It's tough for me to really give a lot of thought because the deck just did not play well last week. So anything that I say, it's not going to be based off of anything in reality. It's going to be off of hypotheticals. So I have to kind of base this off of what happened last week. And not a lot happened last week. So, guys, look, I'm hoping this is going to work. I'm really hoping this is going to work. And then I'm sure you guys can have your thoughts, right? I'm sure you can have your thoughts, and I hope you do have your thoughts, because that means you're still alive. And if you're still alive, that means this is not a simulation. You're not in a coma from that bike accident that you were in when you were 7. Life has actually happened. You're definitely not in that coma still. You're absolutely not. I don't even think like that you are. It's crazy to think that you are. Like, why would you even start to think that way? I don't understand. Like, there's absolutely no way that everything you experience now is fake. Like, you're absolutely, definitely not still a 7-year-old in a hospital bed in a coma, and everything for the last 15 years has been nothing more than the coma world being created for you. See you in week 2.
It seems as though this week Shady is going to be leaning into wind a little bit more, but does have those Kinleos splashed in and those Smoltugas, which could prove to be a big challenge for Galaxy on Magnitude's side of the field. Magnitude, on the other hand, is going full-on water offensive, bringing all of the big threats like Galaxy and Mustache and Oistress and Foamies, and then has the potential for the Trident lock to shut down those Gorgon's Gaze. This is going to be a doozy, and these two creators have a very long history together, going back about a decade. They know each other in person. I'm very much so looking forward to this clash. Make sure you guys tune into the channel so you don't miss it.